future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
All right, welcome to Truth Be Told with Tony and Dean Ryan. I am Tony Sweet, and we have the amazing Dean Ryan here. How you doing, Dean?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm so excited. We've been off a couple weeks, so we're back.
That's right.
And
we've been off for what, like a week and a half, or?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago we had a show. So
did we?
Yeah.
I don't remember the last show we did.
Well, it's been a long couple of weekends.
Yeah, it feels like this is my first time here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Dean. Well, we're going to have some great topics. Captain
We
Ron's
do.
going to be in the house telling us about some great news.
I love
that's
Captain
going.
Ron.
Don't you?
Easy now,
Don't you?
fellas. Easy.
I know.
I've never.
He's mine.
I've never told him, but I like the
Well,
guy.
he's right there.
Oh, is he
So,
here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's who that is.
Hey.
I thought he was UPS.
All right. Well, we're going to just go ahead and bring Captain Ron in. How you doing, Captain Ron?
Terrific.
Terrific.
Ron,
Terrific.
how are you doing? Did you have a good
terrific.
weekend?
Yeah, I worked all weekend, so there you go.
Ask me.
I'm
How'd you do?
afraid to ask.
I
you.
worked all weekend.
See?
Yeah.
Actually, Tony, let me tell you something really cool.
Ooh, what? Tell me.
Let
What?
tell cue the music.
Wait a minute. What kind of music? Porn?
You know, my family watches this.
Sorry, family.
I'm getting really tired of that attitude.
Gospel music?
No, actually, this is really cool. I am starting a fashion film,
Ooh.
an artistic short film that's going to include a lot of the local artists here in LA, makeup artists, fashion designers, models, actors, crew people. This is a very organic film. It's called Chilled Wine.
Chilled wine. I like that.
And our audience is going to love it, and we're doing a GoFundMe campaign. And the funds are going to help all the independent artists in Southern California that are going to be part of this. Not all of them, but, selected few. And here's the cool thing, Tony. You're going to love this. Proceeds, a certain percentage of the proceeds of the money we raise is going to a charity called Working Wardrobe.
And what's that?
Working Wardrobe is a charity foundation that helps women, men, young adults, and veterans, and gets
There you
them
go.
back in the workplace by donating office attire, wardrobe, all the things you need to get back in the office. And as you know,
Very cool.
Men's Warehouse ain't cheap anymore.
You can tell by the
Yeah,
scrubs that I
I
wear.
love your suit. So, and if people are interested in supporting me and supporting local artists, I want to tell them to go to GoFundMe.com/fashion film. And
Fashion film.
we're looking to do this, and it's going to be great. It's going to be artistic. It's going to be organic. And this is what entertainment needs. It needs independent filmmakers, fashion people, and artists. And there's no corporate collusion. So I just want to get that out now.
Very
That's
cool.
good.
All right.
Well, congratulations. And hopefully
you.
we'll all get everybody in
Well, that's why I'm here.
listening to our show is to donate to Dean's.
I hope so.
Documentary.
And I love our audience, and I know they love, hopefully, me. At least one of the three of us.
yeah. I
So-
thought you said one of the three that listen to us.
One of the three of us. So, anyways, that's why I came today. So,
All right. We'll see you
Thanks
later.
for coming in, Dean.
You guys have a
Appreciate
nice
it.
show. Bye.
We are
was
going to do
good.
a show.
Well, for
All right, I'll stay.
like me, I actually have been just working a lot, but I've had a chance to actually catch up on a lot of the news, and we're going to get into the news here in a second. But I have to say, this time of year, I think we all need kind of a Xanax with everything that's going on.
It's been insane.
It's been
insane.
crazy. I mean, not just even the political season, just
Right.
everything that's.
I don't know.
that you
The
can think of.
Xanax,
No,
it hits me hard.
really.
Well, I took one last night off the record.
There he goes.
Off the record, I took one last night.
And how you feel?
I am very groggy right now. I'm seeing like 2 of Captain Ron.
He's kind of
That's
going
not a
from
bad thing.
super way up to kind of mellow.
Right.
He's kind of bouncing around
Right.
today.
So I'm doing
Drink another cup of coffee.
I'm drinking cold coffee that Tony gave me from like last week.
It's not really coffee.
I don't know what the hell he gave me motor oil.
That's what
and-
it is. Just watered
I
down.
am like so amped right now, and I'm like,
That's
I'm,
amped.
Well, you'll see amped. I'm so amped right now. I'm like going to flip this table over. So let's get this news on. There's
Well,
so
first,
much going on.
well, first
US.
though, let's tell us who's going to be on the show today.
Oh, we got a great Truth Be Told correspondent. And by the way, people, subscribe to this channel because there's
Yes.
so many amazing things going on, and we want to get to 100,000 subscribers like by Sunday. With that said,
It can happen.
we have Anthony Antonello, who joined us for the DNC. If everyone remembers that episode where he was in the rain and the tsunamis were coming and the locusts and the frogs, and he interviewed that like crazy lady. It
And
was
the
like
tent almost fell on him. Yeah.
it was like great radio. It's like my favorite interview of all time. So he's going to be joining us half past the hour, and he's been following this whole. I guess something about Hillary. I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
All right,
Yeah,
here we
I
go.
wanted to move on. Oh yeah,
Oh, it's time.
It's we got
that's
our
the news
news.
slogan.
We got our news brought to you by Grown by Nature.
Oh, there it is.
GrownByNature.com. Grown by Nature, and I haven't been sick ever since
Sounds
I've
like
taken
cannabis. Anyway, yes, I wanted to move on from the Hillary story, which we talked about 2 weeks ago and 4 weeks ago, but it's back again. And I had put together the stuff to talk about Hillary's health again, which we keep talking about, and then yesterday happened. So let's just jump ahead into yesterday.
it. What happened yesterday?
You want to pop on that video there,
Yeah,
Tony?
let's watch it.
So yesterday, I'm sure people have seen this by now.
I'm going to turn down the volume so we don't have
Yeah, we don't need to hear it.
The
But we
ambiance.
just need to see it. But look at this is Hillary coming out of the 9/11
She looks
tribute
fine.
she was at, and then look at
Wow.
that's pretty bad. That's like a corpse going into the body there. I mean, her body is just completely limp. That's it, Tony. That's the end.
You know, it reminded me of that great movie, that cinema classic. Oh, Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. That's what it looks like. And it's crazy because they've been asking, this has been floating around.
Right.
I talked about how she was on Kimmel and all this nonsense. But she says that she felt overheated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, number one, that doesn't look like somebody that's overheated.
Right.
Number two, it was 75 degrees, and it's September in New York. So that's a little weak. And then all of a sudden today they came out with this, well, it was pneumonia. Well, they did it yesterday. Oh, it was pneumonia. We diagnosed her Friday with pneumonia.
Really?
Well, then why didn't you say on Friday, oh, by the way, she's got pneumonia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you look at that, I just heard a doctor on the way into the show today, and that's not what somebody does when they have pneumonia. They thought, the doctor, I want to ask our doc on Thursday.
Right.
But it's kind of these things. I worked for one of these billionaire guys, and he used to have these. They're called TIAs. They're like mini strokes.
Mm.
Now, when she said that, she says, look, from a physician standpoint, that's what it looks like happened to me. And that's a common thing with older people. You have these little mini strokes. People have hundreds of them.
Mm-hmm.
This guy had them all the time.
I'm having one right now.
Well, there you go. Some people don't even know they're having them. Then they get an MRI, and they'll say to you, you've had 47 little strokes.
Mm.
Holy
So
crap.
she thinks that that's what Hillary has. That makes the most sense of anything I've heard yet. That's what that looks like to me. Because she loses all control, and they have to lift her in. Look at that picture. I have that picture. Do you have the one from Hillary?
Yep.
From the one they were bringing. Look at that, how they're helping her up. It looks almost the same, how they're both on each side helping her.
Mm-hmm.
This
You
is
know,
coming up in
But
a 10.
what's weird though, the team doesn't act like it's nothing. Like it really
it's a normal thing.
Yeah, like it's a normal thing. They
Well,
don't act really concerned
Tony,
about it.
I'm no doctor.
Yeah.
I know you might think I am, but it looks like to me that that's not heat stroke.
No,
And that is
that's a stroke.
And if it's pneumonia, like I've had people in my family and friends that have had pneumonia. You
not
can't
bad.
even stand up with
Right.
pneumonia, and you shouldn't even be around people because it's very infectious.
And then 20 minutes later, she's walking around, waving, taking pictures with little kids.
Yeah, because she can't walk
2 hours later.
and act like there was nothing wrong at all. So I mean,
I wonder if she's on drugs.
she's on
I'm-
medication, but I don't know about drugs.
Something's up.
I wonder if she's doing blow.
Remember, a couple weeks ago in Cleveland,
George Bush.
she had one of those
Her husband did.
4-minute coughing fit in Cleveland. You guys see that when she just couldn't stop
Oh
coughing?
yeah.
Oh, it was annoying.
That's something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. We'll have to ask
Well,
the
it's,
doc on
I was
Thursday.
going to say
But
because the coughing and then it's almost like two separate things. But
yeah, but something's going on with her. Clearly
see-
now, this is starting to become more credible
But
and more
Ron,
credible.
if she has pneumonia, what about all the other times she was like having coughing fits, like during the Benghazi trial? Has she had pneumonia for 4 years?
Exactly. That's a great point. Exactly. And the other thing is, what people are now going crazy about is her whole knock is that she's not transparent about things. She should have said this Friday afternoon at noon, look, I got pneumonia. And then when she fell on Sunday, she could have blamed it on that. It wouldn't have been so bad. Now it clearly looks like they looked for an excuse. Oh, she slipped on the ice. No, there's no ice. She's got pneumonia.
Right.
Ron, don't be sexist.
Hey,
What I was going to say, are you going to bring up the Donald Trump's his physical?
we already talked about that. That's what we did
Well,
last week.
I think
2
he
weeks ago,
said they're going to release his physical this week. I think.
Well, he's going to get a new one this week.
Oh,
he
he's
said.
getting
He's
another
going to
one.
actually get one. Last time the guy just wrote a letter
Yeah,
and
said
said
it's
he's
the
going to be the
best.
most ever in the history.
Oh, that was the greatest thing.
Now,
oh man,
let me tell you something. I'll tell you what's true is if Trump's elected, he'll be the oldest person ever elected.
really?
Ever. Yeah.
I thought it was
Hillary
Reagan.
will be the
She's
second.
right behind him. Yeah, she'll be the second. Isn't that crazy?
You know, when are the baby boomers are still in control? That worries me sometimes.
So this thing's not going to go away. We'll
I mean,
have
I
to see
love
how she
baby
does.
boomers. I love baby boomers. Let me just, for the record, anyways.
You love everyone.
Yeah, well, I don't know about you, but can you?
You said it earlier.
Well,
All right.
It's the
now this
whatever's
story
kicking in. It's
called acting.
really pissed me off. This is I don't know if you guys remember, about a year ago, just over a year ago, beginning of September of 2015, Volkswagen got exposed for this scam they pulled. And here's what they did. They were marketing their cars as the clean diesel, and they were getting 50 miles to a gallon and all this. Well, it turns out that was all nonsense. They
What?
They put software on the cars that recognized that the engine was revving, but the steering wheel wasn't being held or moved. So it went into this thing they called test mode. The software would send the car into test mode. So it just basically blow air out. So all the numbers were like, oh, this is perfectly clean vehicle. But as soon as you got into the car and actually drove it, it would go into what they called real world driving. And it was 40 times higher than the old diesel cars. So it was actually worse. But they were selling it as if it was a perfectly clean
VWs.
vehicle. VWs. So
But here's my thing: why would they put so much effort into building something that will cover it up? Not just why don't they just build it? It just saved them a lot of trouble. It'd probably been less
money.
But
That's the answer always. It probably takes a lot of money to do that, but we could tell some guy write us software. So they did this in 2007.
It's a German car too.
They did this in 2007. This came out last September. This July, they got hit with $15 billion fine.
now, see, that's a fine. That's a fine right there. That's a good fine.
That's a fine.
And what
but
about
they-
the actor that died because of the VW?
No, that was a Jeep Cherokee.
yeah, Jeep
but,
Cherokee.
But thanks
I
for
stand
piping
corrected.
in.
All right, that's good. All right, I'll just shut my mouth.
So what happened was this Friday, just 3 days ago, this guy named James Liang was an employee. He was the software developer for Volkswagen.
What's his name?
His name's James Robert Liang.
Liang?
Liang. Liang. That's not the important part of the story.
Okay, I want to make sure.
Liang.
I might know him. All right, go ahead.
And he pleaded guilty in Detroit for one count of conspiracy to defraud our government. But they say now that
one.
they got this guy, just one, but he's, going to turn over all the names of who did all this stuff. But this is such a fucked up story, guys. The people, when they first did this in 2007, people were bringing their cars in and saying, hey, look, it's not working, the converter and stuff. And they were charging them to upgrade their software to make it run better. But all they were really doing was putting on more of this scam software to make it appear to pass all the tests and the emission tests.
Wait a minute.
But was
The
it?
people that did this, are they from the Clinton campaign?
They were, as a matter of fact.
That's incredible.
That's
I
a
didn't
weird
know.
coincidence.
Wow, whoa. Small
And,
world we live in. Have you ever driven a VW, Tony?
a long time ago. It's
I
been a
no
while.
longer want to.
Yeah, not now. Not now.
I drove. My grandmother had a 1981 VW Scirocco.
What the hell is even a Scirocco? I don't even know what that
I
looks
can't
like.
even tell you. And it was an ugly car.
I was gonna
And-
say, it
and the
sounds
whole
like
the
it.
thing
Yeah,
would
it's
just
a death trap too.
it would
yeah.
just like vibrate, and it's like you always thought it was going to break down. And I always hated VWs. However, if they want to sponsor the show,
Right, yeah.
we'll reconsider.
Yeah, well, now you got to hate them because this is ridiculous. So, Volkswagen didn't comment on Friday, but here's the zinger that fits our show, guys.
Shock.
We need like a ring or something.
It says that their comment was that the cheating was the work of lower level employees and didn't reach the company's upper management. Really? Do you guys think that lower level guys are going to come up with the idea to have software past these tests? How could that possibly mean anything?
To get out to the public, never. It would never happen.
This would only mean anything to the top guys who are stand to gain financially,
right.
Which, as we know, always follow the money. Mm-hmm. There it is. There it is.
So basically, the illegal immigrants are the reason the Volkswagen's not doing good.
You're not even listening to this story, right?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go back to your coffee.
Isn't that horrifying? This started in 2014. A nonprofit group discovered that the cars were actually, in real world conditions, polluting 40 times what they said they were.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. But to this day and age, like you said, you think with the technology that's going in many other cars, many other brands, you would think that you
wouldn't have to.
You wouldn't have to.
Right. They have emails showing that these guys literally were laughing about the Americans buying this back and forth. They found
of course.
Now, here's the disgusting part. I'm going to cap it off with this, is that the problem is they're not going to be able to indict these guys because the top guys in Germany, they live in Germany, and we can't extradite them here because they don't have the same environmental protection laws that we have. And since we don't have the exact same laws, Germany won't extradite them to America. So these guys are going to walk away scot-free from this. Even though the company's got to pay $15 billion, they're still making $100 million a year, and they got away with this horrible crime. That nitrogen oxide or whatever that shit nitrogen oxide causes respiratory problems in people. It's a horrible thing.
Oh my God!
And these guys did this, making $100 million a year, and they walk away, no penalty.
How long
they still have their jobs.
How long has this been going on?
From 2007 to 2014 when they uncovered it. So 7 years, and then this June they got hit with $15 billion.
And when did they finally discover this?
In 2014.
I mean, was there like because you think that's 7 years of we could have done research, or other people in this country could have done research.
The EPA found it in 2014, and now they're making them recall all those cars.
But I'm surprised it took them that long, 7 years.
EPA sucks.
Apparently.
I mean, because 7 years, that's a long time to let that
You know
go.
why the EPA sucks, Ron? Let me tell you,
like
because they said the air was clean to breathe right after 9/11. Great segue.
But that's when to me it almost sounds like the EPA, somebody didn't get paid, and they said, if you're not going to pay me, we're gonna bring this public.
They probably paid them off for 7 years.
That's what I mean.
Tony, you're onto something.
Because
Sounds like
we're getting a little
7
cynical
years.
on this show.
But that's 7 years. I mean, 7 years is a long time.
It's amazing they got away with it for so long.
He's a Columbo, I'll tell you.
Now, you guys also know that like Google has these cars now coming out that are auto-driven, like computer drives a car. You've seen that
I
shit?
hate him.
Cool,
I
right?
hate him. I hate him.
You hate them?
I do.
I like it.
Yeah.
You like it?
Well, it's definitely fascinating, very futuristic, but I'm still to the point where I don't know. I can barely ride with somebody else in a car, letting alone looking over and nobody there.
Nobody there. Kind of weird.
So-
You know, Tesla's got that autopilot. We saw what happened with that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they got that.
someone died, didn't they?
Yeah, just recently, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In Florida.
Well, Governor Brown of California signed into law, I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago, that the California will be one of the first, I think with Austin as well, to do the unmanned cars.
They're going to be, but this futuristic car thing is actually going to start Friday. That's how close
This
we are to
Friday.
this. This Friday.
What
Wow.
time Friday?
It's actually starting about 12 noon Friday.
Okay, I'm free.
12:01.
But only in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's going to be the test city, and guess who's doing it? Not Google, not Ford,
Yahoo.
and not Tesla.
Oh.
Uber.
Uber of all.
Of everything you learn on this show, it's follow the money.
So
Who
all
stands
these-
to gain?
Well, because they don't have
Uber.
to pay their.
Now those million cars that are running around they're paying these guys. They don't have to pay them.
So they got all these guys worked up, giving them jobs, and now they're like,
now we're going to get rid of you. So Uber's the first one to do this, and they're going to run their cars out. What they did is they bought those super safe Volvo XC90 sport vehicles, which is supposed to be a safe car, which is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just going to do it. They have 100 of them, and they're going to just do it
What's
in
it called
Pittsburgh.
again? What kind of car?
The name of the car is a
Yeah.
Volvo XC90. It's a sport utility vehicle. And it's like one of those super safe, SUV Volvo cars. And they're going to have 100 of these driving around Pittsburgh. And they have them driving around now.
They're nice cars.
Yeah, they're real nice. And they have them driving around now so people will get used to them. Because it says on the side, like,
I'm
driverless
showing it right
cars.
now. That's a nice car.
Yeah. And so people kind of get used to it. They're driving them even though they're not doing
I
the
think
thing
it's an
yet.
ugly car.
And they're going to have people sit in the driver's seat for a while because people will be too freaked out. So there's somebody going to be just sitting there.
One
drinking
person in the
coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
They're like, is that
You know what, Captain Ron?
Tell
I'd
me.
rather walk.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, did you ever see that? I think it was a video of an older woman that is behind kind of the wheel of a self-driving car, and she's just like, she keeps wanting to grab the
I think
steering
wasn't that
wheel.
a Tesla. Yeah, she wants to grab right.
Yeah.
It's got to be weird.
That would be me too, though.
It would be hard the first time. It would be hard, but it's interesting that Uber's the actual first one to do this.
Are they from Germany?
Uber sounds German.
Uber sounds like a German name to me.
I'm just saying.
You know, Ford's coming out with their own rideshare service now. Did you guys see that?
Ford is?
Ford is.
Ford?
What the name is that one?
I don't know.
You know,
Ford rideshare, I believe.
I'd rather push a Chevy than drive a Ford. Sorry.
You were talking about the 9/11 thing. I'm going to skip ahead because in case this guy calls it. He's calling at 4:30, right?
Yeah, we have about.
We
9
have
minutes.
a guest. Yeah, we have our correspondent calling in about 10 minutes. Yeah, let's get to 9/11. So
Let's get to the 9/11 thing. This is going to upset everyone, but let's just, Tony, you want to run that spot? We got this commercial that they thought would be a good idea to run for 9/11.
All right, here
Here
go.
it is.
What better way to remember 9/11 than with a Twin Tower sale? Right now, you can get any size mattress for a twin price.
Full mattress?
Twin price.
Queen mattress?
Twin price.
King mattress?
Twin price. Store-wide sale all day long.
Whoa!
Oh my God! We'll never forget.
So these guys thought it would be. Let me give you the
They
exact
need
quote.
to go to hell.
Here's the quote, Tony. What better way to remember 9/11 than with a Twin Tower sale? I know I can't think of anything better than that. Isn't that? I mean, that's offensive.
Was this like a drunken evening lunch? Hey, I got a good idea. I mean, that's the dumbest idea.
If you're thinking for Saturday Night Live, I think that's a pretty good idea.
well, how much were the beds?
Same price as a twin bed.
Wow, that's not bad.
Not bad. Isn't that just amazing that somebody thought, hey, that's a good idea, and somebody else went, yeah, we should do that.
agreed on it.
And
yeah.
then what we should do is recreate the 9/11 experience right here
And then
by
her-
building 2 towers of beds and knocking them down.
And then having her scream and yeah, that's
And she makes it okay
But-
by at the very end
Well,
saying,
you know what
we'll
it
never
does?
forget.
You know what this is? It shows the disconnect of kind of the young people now and what happened 15 years ago. And I mean, I don't know how old these people. They look like they're in their 20s. I mean, except for the one in the middle. But it shows the disconnect of people forgot or are forgetting about that day. In fact, Mark Dice made this video.
I was just going to bring up the Mark Dice video. This is exactly what I was going to say. Yep.
He was like asking people like, what year did 9/11 happen? And people are like
2005?
2004,
Yeah.
I mean,
they didn't know.
They didn't know. Then they asked him, who's behind it?
didn't know.
Saddam?
ISIS,
ISIS?
Well, I have to say, I think what we see on television so much now, it's desensitized us. So
Desensitized.
Nothing really shocks us anymore. Like
But
back,
that's a shocking
I mean,
thing.
it's a shocking thing, but I mean, from 16 years now, I mean, it's
the attention span, but
15 years now. It's just
It's exactly
we see
15
everything.
years.
We see heads getting cut off.
we have a docile society, the fluoridated water. I mean, people are just not. They only care for 5 seconds, and then they're moving on.
Right.
In the socially engineered, narcissistic society that we have.
Dean's on it here, just with the,
I am on
with the Dice thing about how he's interviewing those people.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't name Bin Laden, they couldn't name Al Qaeda, they couldn't name any of those things. They just had no idea. They were just.
I
like,
mean,
whatever.
Mark got it. And by the way, Mark, if you're watching, please call me back. I don't know why he doesn't return my calls. This guy's so weird. Anyway,
I enjoyed that
continue.
video, and that's very enlightening, isn't it? That
It is.
Especially younger people have no idea about that.
Or maybe just people in Southern California are not as sharp.
I would bet that's nationwide.
You're probably right.
I bet you. Now, we're all sickened by that video, but I have a couple other pictures. If you just want, let's look at these pictures real quick.
All right, here we
These
go.
were ads that people used for 9/11. Look at this. This is a real ad. See what it says there?
Learn to anticipate.
What does that say?
It's got the towers are slightly shortened
And 2
it
planes
says,
above it.
Learn to
Okay.
anticipate. So like they should have. That could you really think this is a good idea?
No.
All right, this next one.
Anything in 9/11 you shouldn't have done.
You should not touch it. Right.
Yeah. What about the families? How do they feel?
That's horrifying.
It is.
I'm not bothered by almost anything, but even this gets to me. I think this is horrible. I really
No, it
genuinely
is.
do.
I mean, this is a day that lives in.
This is to
infamy.
quit smoking. They make a good point that 3,000 people died, and they're saying 35,000 died a year or whatever. 30 million people have died overall in tobacco-related deaths. But
Again.
that's not the thing. You have to use this for that.
Yeah.
And here's the last one, and I hate to do this to you, but here it is.
Exploitation.
now they took the city of New York and kind of made it look like a computer grid. And this was for an antivirus thing. And it said, the quote underneath this one says, "Someday your computer might become a target." Really? God, that
I'm getting angry.
God,
I'm getting
I
real
can
angry.
see making that joke in the planning room, and everybody look at you like you're an asshole, and then you move on past it.
Right.
But somebody
You're
else
not
went,
right.
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm getting angry.
But again,
horrible.
it's not just the people that thought it up, but the management, the owners, the CEOs had to approved this. So I mean,
Well, in the first commercial that you did show, because I did a little research on that, it's based in San Antonio, and we were talking earlier. They closed the
owner shut the store down.
Apparently, the woman we see in the commercial, she's the daughter of the owner, and the owner, to save face, I don't know if he's lying or not. He said he had no idea.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard for me to believe that. Again, like we don't believe anything on this show. But
I think as an
when the
owner,
I barely believe you. I mean,
well,
but as
this
an
is all
owner,
bullshit. I'm
as an
making
owner
this
of a
up.
business, I would want to look and see what the final product before I put it out to the market. So I would definitely want to take a look at
there's
it.
a lot of absentee owners, as we know. I'm not you, but
Sometimes.
but yeah, it's disturbing, and if people watching this too on the channel, I did a little 9/11 clip over the weekend, and I in this a little different. I didn't want.
Do you have it here?
Yeah, we have it on there, but if people check it out, I didn't want to talk about the anomalies of 9/11. I want people to remember, not just the people we lost. I want people to never forget what the world was like before 9/11, and I want to recapture that. And all the things that have come from that day, the endless wars, the war on terror, the TSA, invasive searching, the Patriot Act, so on and so on. I want to get out of the Orwellian nightmare and try to remember what this was like before then. I mean, just to get serious for a minute.
Yeah.
And people forget that. And the people that do remember it, like us here, I think we have a duty to share that, what life was like with the younger generation, so they don't forget what the Bill of Rights, the Constitution was, civil liberties, because that's what they're forgetting. And
Even things that face people's real lives, like going to the airport. I mean, I remember going to the airport. It became a
to be
nightmare.
easy.
It was just your family could walk clear to the
We used to
gate
have all
you.
kinds of
Yeah.
fun meeting people at the gate and everything.
Yeah.
Now that
That's never.
pain in the ass.
well, that's government security.
It's horrible.
Anyways,
All right, let's call your brother.
Well, why don't we take a break?
Yeah, we need to get a
Oh, yeah.
sponsor in here.
Why don't we take a break? I'm gonna valet my car and my Volkswagen before it kills somebody.
Yeah, don't buy one of those.
But no, we got something cool coming up. We're gonna take a quick break. We got our correspondent, truth be told, correspondent Anthony Antonello. It's French, I think.
It's French.
And he did some good work with us for the DNC thing when it was raining, and he put a crazy woman on air, and that just got insane. Felt like we were playing like Hollywood Squares or something.
Why don't you go bring her back?
She's great. She's a real diamond in the rough. But
Bernie supporter.
He's gonna come on, and we're gonna go hardcore into the Hillary thing. We're gonna talk a little bit about 9/11 and where we're going with the future, and get his perspective on things. And he's based on the East Coast, so he's kind of in that whole mix there. So I'm excited.
Well, let's go ahead and take our break. We're going to listen to our sponsor, Grown by Nature. Please go and support our sponsor. Go to grownbynature.com. Just type in promo code Tony, that's TONY, 1010. We'll be right back. This is Truth Be Told with Tony and Dean, the Monday edition, and with Captain Ron in the helm. So don't go anywhere. Be right back.
United States Pharmacopoeia, USP, sets the standard for most food supplements and are used in over 95% of all vitamin and mineral supplements in the world. The problem is that these products have never appeared in any living tissue. They're created in laboratories and are not recognizable to the body's metabolism. Grown by Nature products are different because they use renatured ingredients, proprietary blends of essential vitamins and minerals, with cofactors of proteins, lipids, and complex carbohydrates. Over 50 studies have been conducted on renatured nutrients, and over 20 have been published in peer-reviewed journals proclaiming their superiority. As a result, Grown by Nature vitamins and supplements are now recognized as simply the best available. Call 877-817-9829. That's 877-817-9829 and order your Grown by Nature products today. We are what we eat, and since we are of nature, we should eat foods in their natural form. Only Grown by Nature offers a full line of renatured nutrients. Call 877-817-9829. That's 877-817-9829 because not all products are grown by nature, but they should be.
Do you suffer from anxiety, from depression, maybe even chronic pain? Well, listen up. Truth Be Told is going to tell you about a breakthrough program built on over 100 years of therapies used in America's returning veterans to help you successfully overcome PTSD, anxiety attacks, pain, and depression. The secret proven in study after study. Music therapy. The effects of music are nothing short of amazing. From strokes to PTSD, music has been shown to improve the quality of life. Now, one of the latest music therapy programs being used in America's veteran hospitals can be yours to experience for free at home and to help your own anxiety attacks, pain, and depression. Or just relax after a hard day. It's called Whole Tones. It takes music therapy to a new level. This revolutionary program makes use of specifically designed frequencies that have been shown to stimulate your body's natural healing power down to a cellular level. If it works for battle-scarred vets, can it work for you? Well, experience it for yourself for free at sweetwholetones.com. Like Tony Sweet, that's SWEET. Go to sweetwholetones.com. Now enjoy the show. Do you All right, welcome back to Truth Be Told, Tony Dean, Monday edition. We got Captain Ron in the house. We have our Truth Be Told correspondent on the phone or on Skype. You're going to be able to see him right now. And we have Anthony Antonello. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm doing all right, brother. Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you great, and you look good in your studio there.
Yes, you'll have to forgive me. Just got back from working all day, but you asked me to come on and talk some official business, so I said, yeah, let's do it, man. Whatever. So I'm not worried about how I look. Let's get into it, you know?
Yeah, you didn't get your hair done, but that's okay. That's okay.
No, you look great. I love white's totally your color.
Right.
Yeah, covered in grease. I know. I'm good to go, though. All right.
So, Anthony, I know... God, where do we start in the news? This is like the craziest, the biggest news week this Monday since the election started. What's going on with Hillary? Is it really a heat stroke, like a lot of people believe? Is it pneumonia, or is she
pregnant?
Does she have something more serious than that? I mean, I know you've been following this story pretty closely.
Yeah. Well, for me to know exactly what is going on with Hillary, obviously, there's no way I could tell you what is happening. But, you know, I could break this down the way I break down, you know, most things that happen in, you know, the political realm, be it domestic forum, geopolitical, what have you. It's kind of confusing to me because they've really moved heaven and earth to basically make her the selected one, you know, and over the years, people know that I don't refer to them as the elections. I refer to them as the selections because we know that the election process has been compromised and it is all rigged. And just the show that they put on, they give Americans the choice, to make the illusion of choice that, you know, that they're picking one of two possible people. But the thing with Hillary is, you know, is she the one that they are picking, and is this something that is maybe not planned? And if that's the case, how are they going to move forward? Is there something else at play here? You know, like could they possibly be? I mean, it seems like her health is deteriorating very rapidly.
You think?
Right, you know, right in front of our face. And, you know, some of the situations I think of as far as, you know, how they're going to play this out, you know, when it comes to the selection, there's only two ways they could really go about it. You know, they could either collapse the system, which will be coming inevitably, but we don't know exactly when, or they can keep the illusion going. And, you know, they very well could keep the illusion going. We know
Anthony,
that.
I want to ask you this quick question, because I always kind of felt she was running because the Clintons are so power hungry but it's almost like she's running to get into the White House to almost like pardon herself and her cronies, for really espionage and money laundering. She's almost trying to, she has everything to lose if she doesn't get in the White House, whereas you could say Trump has lost so much already, with his brand, so he has everything to gain by, becoming president, just to put that little contrast in there. So it's almost like she really needs to get in the White House to really pardon herself. But with that said, just from my observation, it looks like I cannot foresee her doing 4 debates in October against the Donald at 2 hours each. There's just no
way.
Freaking way, unless she's in a wheelchair or doing it from Skype like we are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? This is things like this that get my mind going. And when we see her fall, yes, or go down like she did, it did look legitimate. It did look like a real fall. And the way my mind works is when I seen the 2 videos, perfect 4x4 45-degree angles, one on the left, one on the right.
By the way, they all took those down too. If you recall, they took hundreds and hundreds of those videos down, I believe last night, but now some of them are reappearing again.
Right, and this is the cloak and dagger world that we live in. Was it on purpose? A lot of times these things are leaked on purpose. So I guess that's another question. Is it real, or it certainly looked real?
Definitely real.
I believe it's real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, and fair enough. But with me, I always question, because I know how good they are at keeping secrets and hiding things. But, to counter my own point there, we are getting very close to the end of this cycle, and she has been pretty much in hiding for a very long time. So she is going to have to get out there, and if there is something wrong with her, yes, something like this inevitably would happen. So, I seen a video just a couple minutes ago where somebody zoomed in, and it looked like a metal piece fell out of the inside of her pant legs. Was she wearing some sort of brace or something on her leg?
Very FDR.
Really? I didn't see. Where's that video?
FDR used to. He did that. FDR did it as president for.
She had a metal piece come out of her leg.
I didn't hear that, but FDR,
I was tagged here.
Maybe it was a crowbar.
I was.
Well, I want to challenge you a little bit, Dean, about what you said about.
Let's bring it.
Well, here's my thought is if Hillary wouldn't have run for president. Mm-hmm. None of this stuff would have ever been brought to attention in the first place, so she wouldn't have had to pardon herself, because the Republicans they pushed for all of the trials and the investigations when she started running for president.
That's pretty good. I'm giving this one to him.
Right,
go ahead and get him.
Tony came to play.
That's it. Put the daddy pants.
All right, here we go.
Excuse me, Anthony.
Come on, Anthony.
Anthony, hold on. Anthony, I just got challenged by Tony Sweet, and I'm going to answer that. All right, but look.
Go ahead.
Okay, excuse me. Look at her husband with Jeffrey Epstein and all the Lolita trips. And if a Trump or a Republican got in, they could have... I don't think it's even ex post facto, to use a lawyer term. They could have gone after her for the Benghazi thing, because that whole thing in Benghazi was a post to give the weapons to ISIS, not the video they said of, it's a Muhammad video. Mm-hmm. I think she's got a lot to cover. All that money that went to Haiti, she split with the Bushes and the Clintons. I think they're on to her, and I think she's trying to get in. She's power hungry. That's probably the biggest one.
Oh.
It's just like watching House of Cards with Kevin Spacey.
All
really.
right. All right. Come on, Anthony.
All right. Tony beat me. I didn't beat.
Okay, wait, hang on. What was that last part? It's kind of like watching House of Cards. Is that what you said?
Yeah, this
With
whole
Hillary's
thing,
like
yeah.
that show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like watching House of Cards.
I absolutely
Totally.
House of Cards, I think, is
spot on.
I would not be surprised if they have 20 or 30 insiders that are telling them probably real stories, and probably the Clintons actually, because isn't it due the next season, or it's coming back right after or right before
I think right before
the swearing, right, of the next president, whoever
Right,
wins.
right.
Yeah.
It's going to come back soon. It just finished. It's nominated for so many Emmys, but yes, great show.
Okay.
They actually have political insiders on that show that are like telling how the things really are, which is it's so accurate.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I watched that and I'm like, this has to be exactly how it goes. Okay, so you're talking about she has to get into basically get herself out of this trouble. I look at it a little bit different. I believe that.
Well, that's Anthony. That's one angle. I think the other angle is if she does get in the White House, she gets more pay to play. There's talk of her being some kind of Chinese agent. I mean, she's selling uranium to Putin.
Right.
That's coming out in the WikiLeaks. I mean, it's
Okay,
just not
so
a one-sided thing.
Here's what we have to recognize. We have to recognize that the president of the United States is a figurehead. Okay, they
Right.
are not the final word.
Right.
Barry has not been the final word for the last 8 years. He is somebody's puppet. He is somebody who has a lot more power and a lot more money on top of them. So if they wanted to indict Hillary, I believe they would have. And when was the last time we actually seen a very powerful American politician go to prison? The only person I could even think of that did real time was James Trafficant, who spoke out against Israel, which we all know you cannot do. That's when you actually will pay a price. You'll pay a penalty. But I mean, even going back to 9/11, I mean, nobody so much as lost a job, let alone go to prison. You have thousands of Americans dead, let alone millions of people across the planet. So I mean, these people are on a different level, and they're not going to go to prison.
Well, especially with Loretta Lynch as the prosecutor and who was put in there by the Clintons, and then she had the secret meeting with Bill, which was a bunch of bull of, they just said hi, hugged, and said goodbye. She was put in there by the Clintons. The FBI, the head of the FBI, actually was doing the taxes for the Clintons. He was put in there by them.
The Republican, Comey?
Yeah, the head of the FBI. It's all like this collusion of Clintons and their tentacles all over this whole. It's
for 30 years.
But
I got a perfect
Go for
House
it.
of Cards analogy for you. All right,
Better be good.
Do you remember when they were trying to get the brokered convention? And the head of the DNC went to Kevin Spacey, and she's like, I'm the head of the DNC. I'm not going to break the rules. And he looked at her, and he goes, there are no rules. And she's like, I'm the head of the DNC. And he's like, I made you the head of this DNC for exactly moments like this. And it like, to me, that is exactly how it's done. They put people in positions to make sure that when it's time to time to get something done, they're going to get it done. And the only time you see people get thrown under the bus with sex scandals or, something surfacing is when they don't fulfill their end of the bargain.
Like
and
Gary
I think
Hart.
by now there's good.
Yeah, like
Good point.
So it's like Tony. It's like, is the art imitating life, or is life imitating art, or
Depends what day it is.
Never asked me a question.
I would say art imitating life. Honestly, I believe that's where the ideas come from. And I think House of Cards is dead on. And if anything, I would go even further with the United States government being, if anything, I would say House of Cards is conservative compared to.
I agree. I was going to tell you that. I think it's worse than they're showing you on House of Cards.
Yes,
I genuinely think it's worse. And what they're showing
Which
is
is
shocking,
scary.
but it's really worse. Isn't that gross? But it's true.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
Oh, absolutely. The it's turning into the House of Cards show. But I mean, just to praise it, I mean, Kevin Spacey actually killed, not Kevin Spacey, but his character actually killed people. Well, what have the Clintons done? How many people have died?
There's like 9 or whatever that are supposed
They're like
so close to him.
6 people that have died this election season that were going to testify against her. But segueing, and we'll come back to Hillary because it's just so much fun. I know yesterday was a big day, 9/11, and the commensurary and all the things that have been going on, the ceremonies. And that day in particular, Anthony, I know that was kind of the beginning of alternative media and the development of independent media and people wanting truth. So I want to ask you, on a personal level, because I know you're on the East Coast, how did 9/11 change you? And number two, is 9/11 still prevalent in people's mind? Is it still something people get wound up about and talk about? And is the truth going to finally come out?
Man, to your latter question first, that's a tough one. Unless they're prepared to collapse the system eventually, which they probably will, that might be their ace in the sleeve to bring that about. They might eventually do that because, that would be one of the few things that might get all Americans into the streets, and say, but at this point I do kind of second guess, is there anything that Americans would get that upset about? And when, one of the last polls that I seen that was years ago, it was like, 60% or 70% of Americans, it was a high number, do not believe the official, quote unquote, official story, even though there is no official story, but what they think the official story of 9/11 is. Basically, they at least question some things about it. But the problem is it's incrementalization is the problem. So, I think it kind of peaked in 2005 as far as the 9/11 truth movement.
2006.
I'm sorry.
2006, you mean?
Maybe 2006, right in there. Then every year after that, it seemed to kind of dwindle down. I go to New York every year for 9/11, and every year, just the people, there was a lot less people. There weren't as many events. There wasn't as much going on. And, I used to organize a lot of things to try to get information out. And it seems like we've gotten to the point now where people either feel one way or another. And
Anthony, let me stop you real quick, if I can interrupt you. Yeah. I think that is my analysis on that is they're kind of sweeping 9/11 under the rug now as far as the memory of it, because, like you said, people have waken up to the insulting of our intelligence of how those buildings fell and all the holes in that official story. I think it's now where it was used before during the Bush administration is, see, remember this day, give up your liberties, and you need us. Right. Now it's like, holy crap, they found us. Let's not talk about 9/11 anymore. Sweep it under the rug.
But there's been no new news out there. Nothing new has come out. Like it'd be great if you had one. Think about how many people had to be involved if there was a conspiracy. Some whistleblower should have come out by now.
They're dead.
Or they aged small.
There's a lot of dead people from 9/11.
Well, that's what we hear. I don't know if you were being serious or
I'm being hell serious.
Okay, well, I hear this all the time. So if there was a conspiracy, somebody would have spoken. Well, there have been tons of people that have spoken, and we have so many people on the record from New York City to the Pentagon.
Civil Evans.
I'm sorry?
Yes, I think
Barry Jennings. I mean,
Jennings.
More credible than Barry Jennings. He was head of the emergency management department in New York City, and he talked about explosives going off before the second plane hit. And before he actually testified to this, he died.
I meant more like somebody that planted the explosives or somebody that was involved in that, unless they whacked all these people, which they probably did. If they,
I heard they were Israelis.
Well, I mean, man, there's so much.
But Anthony, you said
if we're going to get into the technicals of it, I mean, there are so many different things that could have happened. But yes, I do believe that it was some sort of controlled demolition.
Hey, Anthony, you said you were in New York for the 9/11 ceremonies this year?
No, this was the first year actually that I haven't been. Unfortunately, this was I've been there every year. I believe since 2004. So this was the first year that I wasn't able to get out there. I was supposed to speak at an event actually. I just didn't make.
So do you think the 9/11 truth movement has kind of died down, or has it kind of now started?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I know exactly what caused it, and
you want to name names?
Well, I'm definitely not gonna make any friends saying this, but
Is it Tony Sweet?
I'll explain it. And when I say the name,
please do.
It's not him personally that caused it. All right, Ron Paul. All right, and I'll explain. All right.
Oh wow.
The reason and I could tell you from somebody who has been with the 9/11 Truth Movement from very early in the days, and somebody who is
an OG.
A huge, somebody who's supported Ron Paul for years, a Ron Paul delegate, and respect the guy to this day. But what happened was when Ron Paul was running again in 2012, after what happened with Deborah Medina down in Texas, where she said something about 9/11, she was ahead in the polls. She was about to romp this other lady. And she was a big-time Tea Party person back in those days. And as soon as she said something about 9/11, Glenn Beck and a whole bunch of people jumped on her and ended up swaying the thing almost overnight. Well, when Ron Paul was running with the campaign and with many 9/11 truthers, people who questioned 9/11 were Ron Paul supporters. And the general feeling was, you know what, let's not talk about 9/11. Let's do everything we can to get Ron Paul in there. That's, our priority right now. Well, that's what happened. But the problem is after Ron Paul didn't get the nomination, the 9/11 Truth Movement never picked up. A lot of those people, went to Rand Paul at the moment, and they still didn't want to talk about 9/11. And it just really died down from there. But that's when you really seen, a ton of people, because a lot of Ron Paul supporters, question 9/11. And, once they stopped talking about it, that was it, because they seen that people were getting hung out dry in the mainstream.
Tony, is that what you saw? Is that what you noticed?
Well, I noticed, but what I notice is, and this is like any tragedy, anything that the government or anybody that we don't want to continue to talk about the cause and finding the answers, we make them memorial. I mean, we make it all about very symbolic.
Like Kennedy.
Yeah, it's very symbolic of, from Pearl Harbor to everything. We make it, honor the people, which we should, and we wish all these families and stuff well, but we make it a memorial where it's almost taboo to talk about anything.
Because they want to manage it. The establishment wants to manage.
If you notice that the media, the government, they go in and they make this like a holidays to the day
commercials.
So it's almost like taboo to talk about it.
And then every year, on mainstream talk radio, all the callers, all you hear is, like you said with JFK, all people talk about is where they were. They want to tell their story over and over again. Oh, I remember where I was, and emotion trumps logic every single time. Right. So it really is taboo to talk about it. And I remember the first couple years, I'm ashamed to say it, but I mean, I'm human. When it happened, I didn't question it at first, And I remember when I was first introduced to the information, and I wouldn't look at it. It made me feel, dirty, like un-American or unpatriotic, and I wouldn't dare look at the information. But yeah, I had such strong feelings on it, and I would shout down anybody like, "How dare you, even talk about something like that?" But once you look and once you see this stuff, you're like, man, I was wrong, man. It's like I've been lied to. I was had about everything. So, that's what they talk about, it being awake and falling down the rabbit hole.
Anthony, we only got a few minutes left, and thank you for being a good sport.
Thank you so much.
And doing all the great correspondent work there on the East Coast. How can people find you? I know you're doing your show, and I love your show. I'm always a guest, usually.
Yes.
It's been a while.
Yes.
But where can our audience find you?
You can go to my website, anthonyantonello.com, or go to my YouTube channel, same name, just Anthony Antonello.
And we'll put those links in the video, too. We'll
Already
definitely put those links. And when's your show? It's on Wednesdays, right?
It's nightly, but I took the last 2 weeks. I had a lot of stuff in my life that I'm working on, so I've been real busy. But I'm going to be back next week, and it's going to be nightly Probably 9 o'clock. I'll have it on my website, and
Awesome.
there's a email update list. People could go there, just sign up for the email update list.
Totally.
And I shoot a mass email to everybody, letting them know when we're going live. So that's all they got to do.
All right. Well, thank you so much, sir. You're always welcome here, and we love having you on. So we'll talk to you soon.
All right, Dean. Thank you very much. All right, guys. Thanks for having me, and I'll talk to you on the next one. All right.
You got it. All right.
All right,
Take
guys.
care.
Peace.
All right. Well, we're almost out of time, guys.
Holy East Coast accent. Huh? It's pretty easy to tell where he's coming from, right?
Wow.
Great guy. I like having him on the show.
Yeah, he tells it. He tells it like he feels it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it is,
and that's what we love. I like it that way.
Do you guys think anytime, maybe 20 years from now, we'll have some
look at
deathbed
JFK.
confession? No, it won't be.
I mean, there's always death. I mean,
look at Roswell. We have all these guys coming out. What if you had a deathbed confession about 9/11 20 years from now? Wouldn't that be something?
I guarantee we probably have had those already. I'm sure we will, but we probably won't hear them.
Right. Well, or believe them.
I think the establishment knows. In closing, they know that majority of the people know that the official story is a bunch of bunk.
Well, here's my thing.
Tell me.
The Christians, when the second coming of Christ, do you think they're going to believe it's Jesus?
Right. That's great. I love that
might.
one. I've heard that before. I love that.
I mean, really, if Jesus appeared just like
People
he did back
claim it all the
2,000
time.
years ago, do you think they believe him? I don't think they will.
Project Bluebeam.
There you go.
Project Bluebeam might be a hologram.
Right.
On that bombshell.
On that bombshell. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to Truth Be Told with Tony and Dean, the Monday edition. Captain Ron, you did a great job. Great news stories. Dean, thank you so much. And don't forget to go to GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.com/fashion film. We can use all your support to really helping a lot of
That was
local
fund, F-U-N-D, just so there's no confusion here.
Not
All right.
fun.
Oh, fund.
GoFundMe. And then subscribe to this channel. We're going to do some updates during the week as the WikiLeaks and the story with our favorite person, Hillary, develops. And you'll be seeing me around, yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time on Truth Be Told right here on Universal Broadcasting Network. Bye.